abnormal purpurium is the subinvolution. You may know what is the involution. Involution means the uterus become a pelvic organ, that is, it becomes like a pre-pregnant state. It becomes a 60 gram after a 6 weeks. Is a normal involution. It involves in the pelvis. So what is the subinvolution? It means the impairment in the process of involution, or the retarded means a slow growth in that involution process. So what are the causes behind? The grand multipara, over-distension of the abdomen due to the multiparity or the oligohydramnios, the maternal ill health, cesarean section, uterine prolapse, retroversion, and the uterine fibroids are the causes of subinvolution. The aggravating factors for that subinvolution are written product of conception and the uterine sepsis. Signs and symptoms of that subinvolutions are the abnormal local discharge. It may be excessive or the prolonged. Uterine bleeding, it also excessive or the irregular, and the cramping abdominal pain. While in the signs, the height of the uterus is greater than the particular day of the purpurium, and the uterus feels a soft and the boggy. Then what the management required for the subinvolution? The antibiotic therapy is required. Explore the written product of conception. If essential, then the surgical management is required. And for that, prolapse or the retroversion correction is essential during the ring pessaries. Now the third important abnormal purpurium is the urinary tract infection. Is a less common incidence is a 1 to 5%. Causes recurrence of the previous cystitis, asymptomatic bacteriuria. Common are the frequent catheterization during the labor or the stasis of urine in the early purpurium. The factors responsible for the urinary tract infection are E. coli, Proteinus, Staphylococcus aureus. What are the clinical features for the urinary tract infections? Are the pain from loin to groin, per abdominal tenderness, dysuria, hematuria, fever with chills leads to the rigors, anorexia, nausea, and the vomiting. Now, you very well known what are the investigations required? Yes, there are the total blood count, that means the CBC, complete blood count, and the urinary microscopic and routine examination is essential to rule out the urinary tract infection. That there may be how much pus cells are there, WBC count is how much increased. In this UTI, there are 3 terms. That means the retention of urine, incontinence of urine, and the suppression of urine. So what are the difference between these 3? Retention means occur in the early purpurium. It is occurs due to the edema and the bruising at the bladder neck, and also the reflex from the perineal injury. It occurs due to when the fetus is expelled out, or during the process of normal labor, there may be an injury or the edema or the bruising to the bladder neck. Second one is the incontinence. Incontinence is divided further into the 3 types. That means the overflow incontinence, stress incontinence, and the true incontinence. What is the overflow incontinence? Overflow means the size of the bladder is overflowed or overloaded. Stress incontinence occurs in the late purpurium. The stress incontinence means when there is the stress on the abdominal muscles during any reflexes like coughing, sneezing, there is leaking of urine, is known as the stress incontinence. It is also due to the weakness of muscle. True incontinence. True incontinence is occur in the early purpurium, and it's without any stress effect. It's due to the genitourinary fistula. Mostly occurs in early purpurium due to the surgical complication. Third one is the suppression. Suppression means the urine excretion less than 400 ml within the 24 hours. It called as the suppression. So for know these three terms well or know the UTI or to maintain the urine output chart in the postpartum or the fourth stage of labor, you very well known the osmoregulation and the normal excretion rate of the urine per ml, how much hours. Last part in this abnormal purpurium is the breast complication. What are the complications in the breast? First one is the breast engorgement, cracked and retracted nipples, which leads to the difficulty in the breastfeeding, mastitis and the breast abscess, and fourth one is the lactational failure. So all these also responsible for the puerperal pyrexia. The first one is the breast engorgement. It is due to the exaggeration of the normal venous and the lymphatic engorgement of the breast, which proceeds the lactation. This in turn prevents the escape of milk from the lacteal system. The onset is usually occurs after the milk secretion starts from the postpartum days, third or fourth day. The system includes the considerable pain or the feeling of tenderness or the heaviness of both the breast. There may be malaise or increase in temperature and the painful base. You can see. What is the prevention then to avoid the pre-lactational feeds, to initiate the breastfeeding early or unrestricted, exclusive breastfeeding on demand, and feeding in correct position is the major or the preventive treatment for the breast engorgement. Now what is the treatment for that breast engorgement? To support the breast with binder and brassiere, the manual expression of the remaining milk after each feed, to administer the analgesic for subside the pain, to take a baby in a proper position during the feeding intervals, it may be adequate, or intervals in a frequent feeding is necessary. In a severe case, you can use the breast pump. Now, second one is the crack and retracted nipple. The nipples may become very painful due to the loss of surface epithelium with the formation of the raw area on the nipple, or due to the fistula or the fissure situated either at the tip of the base of the nipple. Both occurs due to the unclean hygiene or the formation of the crust over the nipple, or the retracted nipple, or the trauma from the baby's mouth due to the incorrect attachment to the breast. So the treatment is correct attachment will provide immediate relief from the pain and rapid healing. As you know, fresh human milk and the saliva have healing properties. So frequent interval feeding is necessary. You can use there if there is a inflamed nipple or areoli, maybe due to the thrush, there may be a metronidazole lotion can be applied over the nipple and the baby's mouth also. The nipple shield you can also use, and the breast pump whenever necessary. The retracted and the flat nipple. It is very common in the primigravidas. It occurs, and due to this the baby cannot suck the milk properly, so it leads to the breast engorgement, puerperal pyrexia. So to avoid these difficulties, manual expression of milk as well as breast pump can be used, and to avoid this retracted and the flat nipple, you can examine the patient during the antenatal checkup once. Acute mastitis. The incidence of the mastitis is 2 to 5% in the lactation and very less in the non-lactating woman. The responsible microorganisms are the Staphylococcus aureus, Streptococci The risk factors are the poor nursing, maternal fatigue and the cracked nipple. Mode of infection is based on the infant nose and throat. The onset is superficial cellulitis after the 2 to 4 weeks of postpartum, and it may occur several weeks after the delivery. Clinical features: general malaise, headache, fever more than 102 degree Fahrenheit or more, severe pain and tenderness in one quadrant of the breast. Signs include the presence of toxic features, presence of swelling over the breast, redness of the skin, hotness and flushes, and feel tender and tense breast. Complication is a breast abscess. So the prophylactic use: thorough hand washing before each feed, cleaning the nipples before and after feed and keep them dry and reduce the nosocomial infection rate. Management: breast support, plenty of oral fluids. Breastfeeding is continued with the good attachment. There may be some use of antibiotic. Previously used dicloxamine, like some penicillins. Erythromycin is also used. Analgesic like ibuprofen for relieving the pain. Milk flow to maintain the breastfeeding in the infant. Next one is the breast abscess. The features for the breast abscess are the flushed breast not responding to the antibiotic properly, browny edema overlying the skin, and the marked tenderness with fluctuation, swinging localized temperature. There is the breast pain, may be due to the engorgement, infection, nipple trauma, mastitis. Management: proper nursing technique, positioning and the breast care. To reduce the pain, there is use some analgesic, but there is no response, then there may be a use of drain of this abscess under local anesthesia. It means a surgical intervention is required. Last one is the lactation failure, inadequate milk production. It's due to the inadequate suckling, depression or the anxiety state of the puerperium, reclutance or the apprehension to the nursing, the proper or inadequate development of the nipples, painful breast lesion, endogenous suppression of the prolactin and the prolactin inhibitors. So the treatment is depend on the antenatal and the puerperium. In the antenatal, counsel the mother regarding the advantages of that nursing and the breastfeeding, to care of the breast, how to maintain the adequate breast hygiene, especially the 2 months before the after the puerperium, to encourage the adequate fluid intake, to nurse the baby regularly. Painful local lesion is to be treated to prevent the development of the nursing phobia. Use of some analgesic and antibiotics. There may be use of oxytocin or the metaclopramide. Use of 10 mg thrice daily. It's very helpful. So here we learn about the abnormal puerperium. Thank you.